The live is on. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday, great start to your weekend thus far. We are going live right now, pinning my title here so everybody can see it. The live video has begun. Let me give a moment for some people to check in. I'm starting this live early today. I just decided to do it early. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes I'm going to change the schedule. It's just because I decide to. But usually, if I change the schedule, it's going to be early rather than late. But anybody who is checking in, tell me your name and location in the comments section. We're getting started in a minute. As y'all come in, tell me your name and location. We're going to get started in not too long from right now. Yes, the live is starting right now. Facebook, if y'all watching this right now, you can tell me your name and location in the comment, and or you can hit that share button. You should probably do both. If you're going to do one, hit that share button so somebody else you know can get this wealth. So you can spread the wealth. Make sure everybody's getting this game that I'm about to share right now. So as y'all coming in, tell me your name and location in the comment section. We're going to get into it in a moment. We already know where we started yesterday. Today we picking back up where we left off yesterday. And you see the title. In Facebook, you see it above the video. Instagram, you see it at the bottom right there, the pinned comment, 31 causes of failure. And you can see it right there. There you go. Yeah, cop that mirror motivation. Good idea. So whoever's coming in, tell me your name and location in the comments section. And I'll shout out a couple people who do post their name and location in the comment section. Then we're going to get started in just a moment. As y'all coming in, names and locations in the comments section. And we getting started in, when we going to get started? We getting started in less than 60 seconds. So I'm going to give people a minute to check in. I'm going to introduce myself. Then I'm going to introduce the topic, reintroduce the topic, because today we're giving part 2 of 3. This is a 3-part series that I'm doing on these lives. I started part 1 was yesterday, part 2 today, and part 3 tomorrow. And anyway, let's just get right into it. We don't want to waste too much time. Miles from Florida, what's good? My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. I am a former 9-year professional basketball player, author of 26 books. Book number 26 is officially out. It's not for everybody. It's about overseas basketball exposure camps. You want to know the truth about overseas basketball exposure camps? This is officially ready. This is book number 26. But again, it ain't for everybody. Everybody ain't trying to play overseas. But anyway, don't worry about that. I've done 4 TED Talks. I published over 15,000 pieces of content. I'm an Uber content creator, keynote speaker, coach, consultant, author, podcast host, and I do a whole lot of other things that we ain't got to discuss right now. I've published over 7,000 YouTube videos, 7,000 articles, 1,500 podcast episodes. I already told you about a bunch of other things. And all of it is under the umbrella of this whole philosophy, this brand, this business that I created called Work on Your Game, which is all about taking a pro athlete mindset. Mindset, you need to be in the top 1% of what you do, which is what a pro athlete is doing. And how you can take that mindset that a football player or a swimmer or a basketball player uses and apply that mindset in the office, to apply it in your everyday life, to apply it in your interpersonal relationships. How can you apply that mindset? And I want you to understand that mindset is deeper than, let me just win everything and go to the weight room and get big muscles. There's a whole lot more that goes into being a professional and a professional athlete than just those things, which is what sometimes the casual observer thinks that's all the pro athlete mindset means. There's a lot more than that, but me being a former pro athlete and articulate enough to explain it, I'm overqualified to give it to you. That's why I created this whole philosophy. I even wrote a book about it. It's called Work on Your Game, but I'll tell you about this later, or maybe not even today, but we'll get into that when we need to get into it. Today's topic, we are in part 2 of 3. The subject is the 31 major causes of failure in life. Yesterday, I told you the first 10 major causes of failure in life. If any one of these causes, which 9 out of those 10 were all completely under your control. There was one that's not under your control. It's basically on the genetics that are handed down to you by your family. But everything else is completely under your control. And everything I'm going to share here today, these 10, number 11 through 20, they are all under your control. Which means you need to check yourself for every one of these causes and ask yourself, am I guilty of this? Am I doing this? Am I making this mistake? Am I not paying attention here? Am I slipping in this area? And maybe think about anyone you know who has allowed that cause to befall them, allow them to become failures in life because they weren't able to do something about these causes. Now, if somebody doesn't know about the cause and is causing them to fail, it's not that they're not responsible for it, but you can kind of feel a little bit of sympathy for them because they just didn't know what they didn't know. The thing is, though, it's 2020, ladies and gentlemen. It's no longer tolerable. It's no longer acceptable to not know what's going on. It's not acceptable anymore to be ignorant. Ignorance means not knowing. All right, and if you're trying to become a successful person, understand you should not be ignorant about what causes failure, because failure is the exact thing that will pull the success away from you. It will strip the success out of you. So ignorance, meaning not to know, doesn't mean that you need to know about everything. But I'm a former athlete, I'm an author, I'm an entrepreneur. I don't know anything about electrical engineering or the spaceships that NASA shoots off in the sky or how to fly a plane. So I'm ignorant in those areas, but I'm not ignorant when it comes to writing a book, selling a product, creating an audience, sales copy. I'm not ignorant in those things, because those are the things that I need to be informed in order to do what I do. You understand? So ignorance means not to know. It's okay to be ignorant in things that have nothing to do with where you're trying to go in life. It is not okay to be ignorant in things that have everything to do with where you're trying to go. If you're trying to be a successful person, you need to be knowledgeable not only in the things that will help you get there, but also in the what's the word I'm looking for here? The things that can get in your way. Let's just call it that, for lack of a better term. The things that can stop you from getting to where you want to go, you need to know about those things. And if you are not aware of them, they could be the exact things that trip you up. Has any of you ever had a plan, or you were working a strategy of somewhere you were trying to get, and you went hard at it, and then you realized, like, damn, I didn't know about this thing right here. And that very thing that you didn't know about became the exact thing that slowed you down from getting to where you wanted to go. Oh, damn, I didn't know that. That's why this book that I just told you about, Overseas Basketball Exposure Camps, some things that you might not know about those camps. When you start going to them, you invest in your time and your money, and then it's not getting the result that you want. You're like, damn, I didn't know that. Nobody told me that. Well, see, that's why we talk about topics like this here today. So I'm not sharing the 31 major causes of failure because I want you to fail. I want you to focus on failure, or because I'm being negative. I'm sharing these with you so that you can check yourself for the things that can get in your way when you're trying to get to where you want to get to. Now, without further ado, let's get into the points here. Again, we're doing numbers 11 through 20, the 31 major causes of failure. And if anybody who's coming in now listening to me, yeah, we started the live early today, and I just decided that I was going to do that. So if you missed the beginning, or anybody who misses the whole live, you got the replay, you got 24 hours. Number 11, cause of failure in life: lack of controlled sexual urge. Now this one has a couple layers to it, and I'm going to explain this. Lack of controlled sexual urge. What Napoleon Hill said, and Napoleon Hill is the one who originally came up with this list. I said that yesterday, and make sure I said it today. It says sex energy is the most powerful of all stimuli which move people into action. You want to know what moves you to action more than anything? It is a desire for sex. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're doing something to impress a girl, but it's just the internal drive that, especially men, that we have, that is part of our sexual makeup. Doesn't necessarily mean the actual act of having sex, but it's just part of our sexual energy. Men have testosterone that drives us to be, the more testosterone we have, to be more dominant, to win, to achieve, to accomplish things. That's all just part of the internal wiring of especially males. Because sex drive is so powerful, it must be controlled through transmutation and converted into other channels. In other words, when Napoleon Hill talks about in Think and Grow Rich, and any of you who's listening to me now who has never read the book Think and Grow Rich, I have no idea why. You need to go get it. You could download the book for free on the internet. It's not even copyrighted. You could download the book for free, a PDF somewhere, and go read it if you're cheap and you don't want to invest the money. You can buy the book for 99 cents on Amazon. Just get the book and read it. But anyway, what Napoleon Hill talks about in Think and Grow Rich is learning to transmute sexual energy. In other words, that means, to transmute means taking a certain type of energy that you may not want to or may not be able to utilize directly in its direct use, and transmute that energy, use that same energy to do something else. So for example, if you have a high level of sexual energy, you can use that energy to go to the weight room and lift weights. Or you can transmute any kind of energy. You can transmute the energy of anger, and you can use that to have a great season on the football team. You can transmute the energy of frustration and use that to go write the best book that you've ever written if you're an author, or you write novels or screenplays or something like that. So transmuting means just taking the energy from one area and utilizing it in another area. This requires a high level of maturity. So even though it sounds very simple, many people are not able to quite get it until their brains mature. And it takes some time for people to mature. And they say that males, do not reach full mental maturity until the age of 40. Believe it or not. And you can read up about that. Some people a little bit earlier, some people a little bit later, some people never. But you understand what I'm saying here is being able to transmute that sexual energy, whatever it may be, to whatever it is you want to use it for. Another way that a lack of controlled sexual urge can slow a man down. Listen, I've seen this many times. Maybe some of you have as well. Men who just can't control their sexual urge, they end up creating unwanted pregnancies. Maybe they end up having children, and that derails their careers or their business lives or whatever they want to do. Maybe they end up in the wrong situation with the wrong type of woman that they didn't want to have impregnated, but they did. Maybe they thought it was a one-day thing. It becomes an 18-year thing because of a decision that they made or a lack of decision that they made in that area. So lack of control sexual urge. How many of you have, I talked about this before, you're supposed to be working, but you're scrolling through your Instagram profile looking at what? Looking at females that you may be interested in because it's compelling content, but it's taking you away from doing the work that you're supposed to be doing. So you wasted an hour and you get to the end of the day like, damn, I had no time to do my work. But if you had actually focused on what you were supposed to focus on and controlled that sexual urge to even look, just looking at something is sexual urge. You're looking at it because there's a reason. You're wired to look at it. I'm not telling you not to. You're a heterosexual male. You probably can't avoid it, but you must learn to control that energy. It's not to not have the energy. You just got to learn how to control it. A lot of people don't know how to control it, and that lack of control becomes their downfall in life. So learn to control that sexual energy. Number 12, uncontrolled desire for something for nothing. Now, this is another one that you all who are listening to this, if you listen to any of my guys or any of my content over the years, you shouldn't have this problem, but there are a lot of people who do. And maybe sometimes you might have it in spot areas. The uncontrolled desire for something for nothing means you want to receive something, but you don't want to do the work. You don't want to put the time in. You don't want to put the effort in to get the results that you actually want to get. This is where it comes from when anybody who becomes wildly successful or become publicly notable for their success, people ask them how they become successful. They say, well, I work really hard. Now, even though that's not exactly the reason why everyone becomes successful, it is an element. Hard work is an element of success. Most people who become successful do work hard. And the reason that they say that is because there are a lot of people that they probably come across who see them and think, oh, well, I only see you on TV acting, or I see you in the games playing, or I see you on Instagram posting, and it looks very fun, it looks very easy, it looks like it's sweet. Like I said, sweet just meaning that it's not a lot of effort, that anybody can pretty much do it. And the people who do the hard work, because a lot of our hard work, if you think about it, a lot of the hard work is done in the dark, right? Nobody sees it. It's done in the shadows. It's not publicized. There's no camera crew following you around. The fans are not watching, but you're doing a whole lot of hard work. The only part the fans see is the performance. And if you work hard enough in practice and you prepare hard enough beforehand, when you go and perform, it looks easy. Doesn't mean it is easy. It looks easy. So the people who watch a professional perform see how easy the professional makes it look. And they're like, oh, well, I could do that. I can do what they're doing. They're not, all they're doing is this, and this. I can do that. And they think incorrectly. A lot of people think, because of their ignorance, that, oh, just to be at that person's level, all I got to do is these things that you see that person doing. But it's all the stuff that you don't see them doing that actually creates the ease with which they perform the way that they perform. And this is how a lot of people in life have this uncontrolled desire to get something for nothing. They think that just because they're pretty, they could be a model like this person. Or just because they're tall and they can jump, they could be LeBron James. And just because they told a couple funny jokes at a cocktail party, they could be Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock or Louis C.K. But what they don't know is all the stuff that those people do when you're not watching, that you don't know about, that does not get documented. That's the reason why they make it look so easy. So what you need to check yourself for is, where are you looking at some success that you want to achieve and you are not preparing yourself to do the work? Where are you looking at some success you want to achieve and you don't even know what the work is? This is another problem that some people have. They want to achieve an outcome and they say they're willing to do the work, but they have no idea what the work is. Listen, you can't do the work if you don't know what the work is. You can't do the work if you can't follow the path if you don't know what the path is. You can't enact a strategy if no one has informed you as to how the strategy is enacted. So it's your job to go out there and get the information. This is part of the failure, having an uncontrolled desire of something for nothing. If you don't know what the thing is that you have to put in to get to something, then what can you do? You can't do anything. You got to go get the information. This is why I just said ignorance is no excuse. Ignorance is unacceptable. It's 2020, people. It is not acceptable to be ignorant. It is not acceptable to not know what's going on. It's not acceptable to not know what path do I need to follow, what steps do I need to take to get information to achieve something that you want to achieve. Again, If you're not an astronaut, you don't need to know what's going on at NASA. But if you want to be an athlete, you need to know what is going to be required of you to play that sport. And if you don't know, how could you possibly do it? Well, that's a trick question because you can't. So make sure you find out what is going on. People who are running around trying to get something, but they're not doing the work, they're not willing to do the work, or they have no idea what the work is, are setting themselves up for failure because you will run out of time without having the information or without having done the work. And you're a failure because you never achieved the outcome that you wanted to achieve. You never even got started on it because you don't have the information. Point number 13. The topic we are talking for people who came in the middle of my speaking is the 31 major causes of failure in life. This is part 2 of 3. I'm going over points number 11 through 20. Number 13, lack of a well-defined power of decision. In other words, being an indecisive individual is a cause for failure. This is an important point because one of the things that I talk about all the time, if you listen to my masterclass audio show that some of y'all will call a podcast, I talk about having a sense of urgency. And a sense of urgency is having the energy within you that moves you to action to go get things done now rather than getting things done later. Not because you're on a deadline, not because if you don't do it now, something bad is going to happen, not because you don't have an opportunity to just do it in 3 weeks or tomorrow or whenever you get around to it. Having a sense of urgency about your life simply because you need to remember, constantly remind yourself that your time is not unlimited. Time itself is infinite and unlimited. Time was going on long before any of us existed, and time will continue to go on after all of us are dead. But your time does not go on forever. All right, you ain't been here forever, and you won't be here forever, and you don't know when your time is up. Therefore, understanding this and really understanding, I'm not talking about just logically understanding, because everyone logically understands that one day their time's going to be up, but I mean emotionally understanding it. When you logically understand something, then you can hit the like button when somebody says it, or you can repeat what they said in the comment section, or go take something you heard somebody else say and post it on your social. That's logically understanding it. Emotionally understanding something means you actually put it into action in your life. Not just talking about it, not just writing it on a wall somewhere on a board and getting social feedback from other people. It means actually enacting it in your life. So my question to you is that you need to ask yourself, how much urgency do you have about the things that you want to achieve in your life? How many things do you say you want to achieve, but you keep putting them off over and over again as if you have unlimited time? This is all connected to a lack of a well-defined power of decision. You are not being decisive about doing the things that you need to do in your life. You're being indecisive about them. You know what they are, but you're just not making a decision. You're not moving yourself to action. Eventually, you will run out of time. I don't care how young you are or how healthy you think you are or how invincible you believe yourself to be. Every single one of us will eventually run out of time. We have no idea when that's going to happen. So if you are not making decisions, you're putting off your decision-making process. You are basically tempting fate and saying, fate, I don't believe that my time is limited. And you tempt fate, or fate is going to show you something that you probably don't want to see. People who succeed reach decisions promptly and change them, if at all, very slowly. Let me say that one again. People who succeed make decisions quickly, and if they change their decision, they change that decision slowly. People who fail do the opposite. They take forever to make a decision. They take forever to take action. They take forever to get started. They never take initiative. And then when they finally do something, they just change their mind every day, every moment. Oh, I don't want to do this no more. Now I want to do this. Now I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to do this. This is what failures do in life. They're always changing to something different. They take forever to get started on something, and then everything they start, they never actually finish. Indecision and procrastination are twin brothers. Napoleon said, when one is found, the other is usually found. You got to kill off this pair by get off the treadmill of failure in life by being a person of decision and a person of immediate action. People who are successful in life, think about this. Who are the most successful people that you know? Think about the 5 most successful people that you know. I'm talking about people you know in person. Like you shook their hand before, you know their name. If you see them, you know them, and they know you. Who are the 5 most successful people you know? I guarantee each one of those 5 people, unless you just know a whole bunch of losers, if you know 5 people who actually have success in their life, they are decisive individuals and they are people of action. Notice I didn't say how much money they make or what kind of car they drive or what kind of house they got or how old they are or any of that. It's about their decision-making process, and they make decisions quickly, and they are action takers. When they make a decision about something, they move on it. It's immediate. It's not next week. It's not tomorrow. It's not 3 years from now. It's not someday. It's right now. When people who are successful make decisions, they act on them immediately. And people who are unsuccessful take forever to make a decision, if they ever make one. And then when they make a decision, they do nothing. I want you to understand something about the decision. It's not a real decision until you take action on it. A decision does not become real until it is followed up by action. So if I decide that I'm going to drink some water, it's not a real decision until I actually drink the water. If I decide that I'm going to quit my job, it's not a real decision. You ever heard somebody say, I'm going to quit my job. I don't really want to be at this job anymore. Or I'm going to dump this girl. Or I'm going to dump this guy because I don't want to be around them anymore. But then you see them 3 months later and they still working there. You see them 3 months later and they arm in arm with the same guy or girl that they said they were going to dump. Did they really make a decision? No. It's not a decision until you take action. So next time you say that you've made a decision to do something, listen, don't announce it. Say it. You can say it to yourself, and you don't even got to say it to yourself. You could think it, and now ask yourself, all right, how do I make this decision real? You make it real by taking actual action on it. People should know you made a decision based on the results of your actions, not by the words that you speak. All right, talk is cheap. Point number 14. We are talking here, for those who came in the middle of this, we're talking the 31 major causes of failure. We're on part 2 of 3. Number 14. One or more of the 6 basic fears. If you didn't know that there are 6 basic fears in life, there are. I'm going to tell you what they are. Number 1, the fear of poverty. Number 2, the fear of criticism. Number 3, fear of ill health. Number 4, the fear of loss of love. Number 5, the fear of old age. And number 6, the fear of death. Any one of these fears will lead you to failure in life. Now, you might be wondering, or I'm going to plant this question in your head, well, isn't fear just a normal part of the human animal? And the answer is yes. Fear is hardwired in all of us because back in the caveman days, as they say, we needed to have fear so that we could notice which berries are healthy to eat and which berries off the bush are poison, because if we eat the wrong berries, we would die. And we got to be aware of knowing when the saber-toothed tiger is coming around or a rival caveman is coming around, because they might kill us and they're trying to eat us or eat our food or steal something from us. So we needed that fear hardwired in us. But these days, of course, our lives, for the most part, are not in danger on a day-to-day, moment-by-moment basis. Most of us live relatively safe lives, but we still have fear within us. So what do we do with that fear? You have to learn to take that energy that becomes fear in some people and transmute that energy into something else. If you allow any of these fears to slow you down, I'm not going to go deep on each one of these 6 basic fears, but any one of these can stop you. The fear of poverty came about back when Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich, was back in the Great Depression. And in that time, a lot of people didn't have money. People were killing themselves, committing suicide because they had no money. They had lost all their savings. They didn't know how they were going to eat or pay rent or do anything with the rest of their lives. They ended up killing themselves because of that poverty that they were dealing with. And they had no idea. They saw no path for getting out of it. If you are afraid of losing all your money, usually you will lose all your money. Usually in life, the things that you're afraid of are the exact things that you draw to you, because fear is an energy. And when you are afraid of something, what are you doing? You're attracting it. It's like the law of karma. The energy that you are emanating from within you, you are attracting that energy back to you. If you're emanating positivity, you attract positive people and positive things. You emanate negativity, you attract negative people and negative things. If you're emanating fear of anything, that exact thing that you're afraid of will come and find you. As they say, animals can sense fear, like a dog can sense when you're afraid of dogs, and the dog won't leave you alone because it knows you're afraid of it. It's because your energy, you're putting out wavelengths of fear of that dog, and that is putting more attention on the dog. Now the dog, sensing your attention, is going to come around you because it senses the energy that you are sending towards it. A fear of criticism is one of the biggest ones we have these days. While we're not in the depression right now, and even when we had the Great Recession, it wasn't as bad as the Great Depression back in the day, way before all of us. The fear of criticism is one of the biggest ones we have nowadays, simply because we don't have, again, every day, we don't have the abject fear of dying, and we're not in a depression, but we got these social media platforms. We got the Facebooks and the Instagrams and the YouTubes and the Twitters and TikToks and everything else, where anybody can say anything about anybody. And if you happen to be a person who puts yourself out there on social media, you post a picture or a video or an article or an opinion or whatever, anybody who sees it can say whatever they want to say about you, really with no repercussions. There's no accountability for anybody saying something about you. They can just make a fake account, not put their picture or real name on it, and they can say whatever they want about you, and you don't even know who it is. And a lot of people, believe it or not, now probably somebody who's listening to me right now, are so afraid of being criticized by random people on the internet that they don't put themselves out there all the way. They don't put themselves out there boldly and authentically like I talk about every single day when I introduce my podcast. Confidence, putting yourself out there boldly and authentically, even though people may criticize, even though everybody's not going to agree, everybody's not going to like you, everybody's not going to co-sign with you, everybody's not going to clap for you when you're done your presentation, everybody's not going to buy your product. But if you are afraid of criticism, then you will probably never achieve anything. You'll never try anything. You will never stretch yourself outside of your comfort zone. You're never going to step outside of the little circle that you're already in, the little box that you're already in, which some people refer to as a comfort zone. You will never step outside of it if you're afraid of being criticized. And the thing about the comfort zone, everybody's heard someone talk about it probably before. Your comfort zone are the things that you're already comfortable with, the things you can already do, the things you have already achieved. It's just staying in you're good here. I'm good in this little space. I know what everything is. I know who everybody is. Everybody knows me. I'm good in this space. If you want to go further in life, if you want to get better in life, if you want to advance in life, you have to step outside of your comfort zone, right? You got to do something you're not used to, something you don't know how to do maybe, something you've never done before. You got to go talk to somebody you never met. You got to put yourself out there in front of some people who never heard of you. You got to do these things in order to and step outside of your comfort zone and stretch yourself in order to get better. The problem is if you're afraid of criticism, and this is one of the 6 basic fears in life is a fear of criticism, you won't do it. Therefore, you can never grow, you can never stretch, you can never get better, and you can never progress in life. And what did I tell you yesterday? Any person who is not aiming to get better, who is not taking actions to improve, to stretch, to grow, to expand their comfort zone is by definition a loser. You cannot win in life if you are not aiming to improve and progress, simply because the world is always changing, life is changing, the earth is literally moving. So if you are not moving and you are trying to remain stagnant and stay in the same spot in your comfort zone, then you are by definition, you are losing. And losing is for losers. If you want to win in life, you must find ways to step outside of what you're comfortable with. Doesn't mean you got to be doing it at every single moment. Sometimes you will do things you're comfortable with. You're comfortable brushing your teeth, you should probably keep doing that. But there are other times that you need to step outside of what you're comfortable doing and keep doing it in order to stretch yourself and grow. If you're not doing that, then you may have fallen victim to the fear of criticism, and you can change that at any moment. And you may be trying to stay the same while the world is moving, which means you're losing. You're trying to stay neutral while everything's moving forward. It's like standing still on a moving treadmill. All right, just think about that. I'll give you the visual of what that is. You can go try it if you want, and you'll find out what happens. You must master the 6 basic fears. I'm going to tell you what those fears are again. I didn't go over all of them, but I went over 2 of them that I think are the most prevalent these days. These are 6 basic fears. This is all point number 14. Fear of poverty, fear of criticism, fear of ill health, fear of loss of love, fear of old age, and the fear of death. And I suggest you go read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Richer. He goes deeper into each one of those fears and how you can conquer that fear. And it's crazy that some of the things that he talked about in conquering those fears, this was almost 100 years ago when he wrote that book. They still apply to this very day. The fear, when he talks about the fear of criticism, you can take everything he said in 1929 and it applies to social media in 2020. Crazy. Point number 15. Today's topic, for those who came in the middle of this, we are talking the 31 major causes of failure. This is part number 2 of 3. So I'm doing the second group here. I did 1 through 10 yesterday. Today's 11 through 20. Number 15, wrong selection of a mate in marriage. Are we getting into deep water right now? Wrong selection of a mate in marriage. Now, I'm going to expand this definition right here, this cause right here. I'm not even going to say marriage, and I'm not even going to say a mate. I'm not even going to say that this doesn't even have to be in an intimate relationship. The wrong selection of anyone that you're associating yourself with can lead to failure. But there's another point on that coming up later. So let's just keep it on. We'll just keep it on intimate relationships. Males, females, whatever your preference as to who you like to date, whether you're dating men, women, question, LGBTQ, whatever it is, don't choose the wrong person. Choosing the wrong person can cause failure to come upon you faster than any other mistake you could possibly make in your life. Trust me. I know people who have made this mistake. I know men who have made the mistake of, again, not being able to control their sexual urges, impregnating the wrong woman. Now they're connected to that woman for the rest of their lives, like it or not, because now there's a child between them. Now they got to pay for 18 years for that child that they didn't even want to have because they chose the wrong woman or they made the wrong decision with that woman. Maybe they did want to have sex with the woman, but they didn't mean to impregnate the woman because they didn't have the discipline to protect themselves. You know what I mean when I say protect yourself? when they decide to get intimate with this person. Now, 18 years. What Kanye was saying in that song? 18 years. 18 years. She got one of your kids, got you for 18 years because you made the wrong decision with a mate. I heard Steven Jackson. Those of y'all know who Steven Jackson is. He's a former NBA player. Some of y'all know who he is really well, but he has a podcast called All the Smoke, him and Matt Barnes, two former players. And it's kind of entertaining. They're not the best interviewers. They're not the best question askers. But they've had a couple interesting conversations that they had. I don't listen to all of their show because, again, I don't think they're that great. But Steven Jackson's an interesting guy. And he did a video. You can find it on YouTube. Look it up. He was on live on Instagram, but somebody recorded it and posted it on YouTube. And he's talking about, listen, if you, because he said, how many baby mamas he said he had? I think he said he had 5 baby mamas, 5 different baby mamas and 5 different kids. Either 5 or 6 kids and 5 baby moms. He said on his video, so I'm not airing him out. This is what he said. And he said, listen, if you make the wrong choice as to the woman that you get with, and that woman becomes nasty or bitter, or she's trying to mess up your life or trying to get all your money out of you because of the kid and use the kid against you and not let you talk to your son or talk to your daughter. And Steven Jackson said this. He's like, 3 of my kids, I don't even have any contact with. I don't even talk to them because their mom has soiled that relationship and poisoned the relationship that I can't even talk to my own kids. And Steven Jackson wasn't saying it to talk down on the baby's moms. He didn't say their names or nothing like that. But what he was saying was, to the men out there, do not make the wrong decision as to getting in bed with the wrong woman because it could ruin your life. And he talked about, look, I've spent millions of dollars on child support. I've been to all these court dates. I can't even talk to my own kids because I made the wrong decision in even getting with this woman in the first place. He said, I don't regret the kids, but I regret the woman, the mom. And the mom is connected to me and this kid forever. And that wrong decision cost me in the long run. Some of you who are listening to me right now, you know some women. I mean, not women, but men, women too. You know some men who have made wrong decisions as to what women they got in bed with, didn't protect themselves, a child resulted, and now it's not a good relationship between the mom and the dad, but now there's a kid in the middle, and now that kid has to suffer because the mom and the dad can't get along because they never should have had a kid in the first place because somebody, whoever's listening to me, if it's the woman, if you weren't smart enough to tell that man, like, yo, put some protection on before we do this because I ain't trying to have no kid with you, or you're the man who said, hey, let me go to the corner store and give me some protection before we do this because I ain't trying to have no kid with you. You might not have to say it in those exact words, but look, keep it real. It's much easier to take that 5 minutes and go get that protection and risk losing that opportunity in the bedroom than it is to not take that 5 minutes and now you got 18 years and X number of thousands of dollars in child support you got to pay and all the heartache you got to go through and all the stress that you got to go through trying to connect with your own child that you can't connect with because you got a bitter baby mom or a nasty baby's father because you weren't disciplined enough to make the right decision in the moment. I've seen it happen to many men, and some of y'all might be one of these men. And some of y'all know some of these men. Some of you actually might be the result of one of those men making a bad decision. Maybe your parents had this situation and you had to live through it and you were the one caught in the middle because somebody wasn't disciplined enough. They actually both got to take the blame, but somebody wasn't disciplined enough to say, you know what, we shouldn't do it this way. We should do it, but not this way. Choosing the wrong mate. Again, whether you married the person and it ended up being wrong and you got to pay the alimony or they get half of all what you got, or you made the wrong mate in terms of a one-night situation, but now it becomes a one-night situation becomes an 18-year situation just because you didn't have 5 minutes to have some discipline and buy some contraception that costs $3 at the local bodega. I mean, what type of sense does that make? Now, again, it's easy to say that after the fact, but these are the kind of questions you need to be asking yourself before the fact. If you're going to go out, if you're going on a date, if you're going to go to the club or the bar, listen, go stop at the CVS before you go to the club or the bar, just in case you get lucky that night, so you're already prepared. I mean, what's the saying? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. All right, Steven Jackson talked about as well having a prenuptial agreement with the woman that he was going to marry, and that woman wouldn't sign the prenup, so he canceled the wedding. He didn't marry. So at least he got smarter. So you understand, Steven Jackson got smarter. He did something dumb and had kids by this woman that ended up being the wrong woman, but at least he didn't compound the crime by also marrying the woman. At least he caught himself on that one. He said he spent $300,000 on a wedding that didn't even happen, but at least he didn't marry her. He would have cost him even more money. But again, some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm guaranteed every one of you knows someone who has made this mistake. The problem is, not the problem, but the point is here, point number 15, Make sure you are not the next one to make this mistake. Point number 16. Today's topic is, we're going over the number 11 through 20 causes of failure in life. Number 16, y'all probably wouldn't expect this one. Over caution. Over caution. Too much caution. You are too careful. You weigh your options too much. You think about it for too long. You hesitate and procrastinate and try to decide what to do for so long that the opportunity that you thought you had, by the time you finally make a decision, is gone. This goes hand in hand with the cause being indecision and not taking action quickly enough. Procrastination and indecision go hand in hand with overcaution. Usually when people procrastinate or they're indecisive, one of the main reasons people do that is because they're worried that they may be taking a risk, or they might fail, or something might not work. Let me explain something to you. When you step outside of your comfort zone in life, every time you step outside of your comfort zone, that means anytime you do something that there is some type of variable involved that you don't control, you are taking on risk. Every time you walk outside of your house and you cross the street and there are cars, all right, you're taking on a risk. Every time you go to the mall or to a restaurant or get in an Uber or eat some food that you didn't grow and make yourself, you're taking a risk. You have no idea somebody could have poisoned your burger that you eaten at the restaurant. You have no idea the guy in the car behind you just decided that he wants to die today. He's going to ram his car in the back of your car and kill himself and wreck your car at the same time. You have no idea if the person standing next to you at the urinal in the mall bathroom might decide they're going to kill the next person they see because they just decide that's just what they want to do. But you still go to the mall, you still order food at the restaurant, you still cross the street when there's a green light. So you're always taking on risk. The thing is, most people don't look at life like that they're always taking on a risk, but you are. So if you become overcautious about making one decision because you're like, oh, this one is a risk. Listen, you've been taking risks all day. You just didn't realize you were taking risks. All right, anybody here know how to design the inside? Anybody here ever seen the inside of an iPhone or iPad or a MacBook computer? If you are not raising your hand, yes, you've never seen the inside of one, you never took it apart and looked at it and examined it, and you can't name every part inside of it. How you know there's not a bomb inside of this that's going to blow up next time you put the phone to your ear? You don't, but you still use the phone. All right, you ain't throwing that phone in the trash, right? You're not going to never use a laptop again. Again, anybody here own a farm and you grow all your own food and everything you eat is something that came straight from your farm, you washed it, you cooked it, and then you ate it? Do you get your food prepared by anybody else? Do you buy food from the grocery store? Who made that food? Who touched it? Did they wash their hands? What did they do to it? You have no idea, but you still eat it. So you're taking on risk all day. So if you have the failure cause of overcaution, you are not making it. That's hustling backwards. This is the person, again, they take risks all day, eating food that somebody else made, going to the mall around 1,000 people that you have no idea who they are. They're getting on devices that you didn't see them get designed. You couldn't fix it even if you wanted to. You don't even know how to take your iPhone apart, but you use it all day. But then when it comes time to sign up for a course or to buy a book or to go try out for a team or go to a job interview or go talk to that girl across the street, now you want to be cautious. You've been taking risks all day, all your life, every day. So if you want to be overcautious, like, you're not making any sense. Again, I call that hustling backwards. I did a whole section on hustling backwards in this book right here, Working Your Game. I'll tell you about that later. Life itself is filled with the element of chance, okay? Every single day you are taking a chance. If you didn't know that, now you know. If you never thought about it that way, you should start thinking about it that way. And don't think about it that way so that you can start doing less. Think about it that way so you can do more. Because you're like, oh, I've been taking chances all day. I might as well take another one. I've been taking chances all my life, which you literally have. I might as well take another one. I mean, when you were born, for the first, how many years of your life was it before you could take care of yourself? 16, 17, 18, 25? All right, for all those years, for at least the first 10 years of your life, you were completely dependent on someone else to take care of you. 10 years you took risk. How you know they had your best interest at heart? How you know they didn't want to just kill you, smother you one day while you were asleep? But you lived for 10 years, times 365 days, or however many years. All right, you're being overcautious now. Makes no sense. Point number 17. The topic we are talking, number 11 through 20, the 31 major causes of failure in life. Number 17, wrong selection of associates in business. Now, everyone here has heard of the law of association. If you haven't, let me tell you what it is. You become the average of the people you spend the most time with. Does not have to be 5 people. It could be 2 people. It could be 30 people. It could be 27 people. Whoever you spend the most time with, that's who you become. And when I say spending time, it doesn't mean standing next to them or sitting on the couch, same couch with that person. Listening to somebody is spending time. If you listen to this, you listen to these lives I do every day, you're spending time with me. If you listen to somebody's podcast, you're spending time. You subscribe to somebody's YouTube, that's spending time. You read somebody's book, you are spending time with that person. Whoever you are spending the most time with, because time is limited, 24 hours a day, you're becoming that individual. And if you make bad decisions as to who you are spending time with, that can lead to your failure in life. Who are you spending time with? Don't answer to me, you got to answer to yourself. Who are your associates? Who in your circle of associates, if we just say the five people you spend the most time with, whether that's on the internet or people you know in person, who of those people is actually making you better? List the 5 people that you are listening to, reading, watching, talking to most often in your life right now over the last, let's say, 30 days, and name out of those 5 people, who of those 5 is actually making you better? Who of those 5 is actually bringing something positive into your life? Who of those 5 is doing nothing? Who of those 5 is going nowhere? Who of those 5 is not really adding anything to you, but you keep spending time with that individual? Is that making you better or is it making you worse? I told y'all already, everything you do in life is an investment. Every investment has a return. A return on investment means you gain. You got something better, you got something back, or you just lose your investment. It's a bad investment, and whatever you put out, you get nothing back. Bad people are bad investments. Losers are bad investments. People who are going nowhere are bad investments. People who can't help you learn anything are bad investments. People who are not trying to achieve and get better on their own volition, they are bad investments. If you keep spending time with them, then obviously you want to be them. Obviously you want to be like them. I don't even got to talk too much about that one. Understand, the wrong associates at work, the wrong associates in intimate relationships, the wrong associates as friends, the wrong associates even as family. When you get old enough to control who you spend time around and you still hanging around the losers in your family, if you got losers in your family, all right, that's your fault because now you got control over it. All right, once you move out of the house and you can go do what you want to do and you keep coming around, all right, you're making a bad decision. I heard 50 Cent say, he said he don't even go to like Thanksgiving or Christmas with his family anymore because there's too many negative people. He said, I go the day before. He said, I come to my grandparents' house the day before Thanksgiving, hang with my grandparents, and then I leave before Thanksgiving Day because that's when all the rest of the family comes. I don't want to see them because they all negative. He said that himself, and that's his own family. So he went and saw the people that he wanted to see, and then he was selective about staying away from the people that he didn't want to see. Because I get people who come to me and say, Dre, well, I got negative people in my family. What am I supposed to do about that? As soon as you got control over it, do something. Do something. All right. What you should do about it is more than do nothing. All right. Doing nothing about it is the worst thing you could do if you're already complaining. You follow me? That's point number 17. Point number 18. We are talking the 31 major causes of failure. This is points number 11 through 20. Number 18, superstition and prejudice. Now, I'm not going to say too much about superstition, but Napoleon called superstition a form of fear. So superstition could be like, what is it? Don't walk under a ladder. If a ladder is up on the wall, don't walk under the ladder because it's bad luck. Or if you break a mirror or you break some glass, it's 7 years of bad luck. And if a black cat crosses your path, that means bad things are going to happen to you in life. All of that is just fear. Somebody made that up, and now everybody just start copying it and repeating it. Means absolutely nothing, but people use these things as excuses to offload their fear. They project their fear onto those things because it gives them somewhere to project that fear. They need something to do with it. All right, superstition is useless. It's a sign of ignorance. You don't know what's really going on. So if you break a glass and then something bad, you get fired from your job the same day. You're like, oh, I got fired because I broke the glass. No, you got fired because you suck at your job. You got fired because you keep showing up late. You got fired because you don't know how to do work. You got fired because we've been training you for 3 months and you haven't learned the thing that we've been trying to train you on. That's why you got fired. All right, the broken glass is a coincidence. So we came up with these superstitions based on coincidences that occurred in life. Somebody said it, some dummy repeated it, and then a whole bunch of ignorant people who are fearful at the same time started accepting it as truth. And this is how we get superstition. All right, superstition is for fools. Okay, if you got any superstitions, or you're being foolish at the moment that you're engaging with those superstitions, get rid of them. People who succeed in life are open-minded individuals, and they are not afraid of the unknown. I'm going to let that one sink in for a minute. People who succeed in life are open-minded individuals who are not afraid of the unknown. Meaning, these are the type of people who are not afraid of changing their opinions when they get new information. If you got all the same opinions right now that you had this time last year, then you are soaking in fear because for whatever reason you aren't changing your opinion. Your opinions should change over time. I had one time somebody said to me, Dre, well, you're talking about whatever topic I was talking about. He said, you said this, but you also had a podcast where you said this. Well, you're contradicting yourself. And I said, of course I'm contradicting myself. Because not only should my opinions and information change over time, I'm gonna say something 5 years from now that is going to contradict something that I said last week, guaranteed. Why? Because I get new information. I learn new things. I meet new people. I get new experiences. Of course my opinions are going to change. If they didn't, that means I'm not going anywhere. And you probably will stop listening to me because I don't have nothing new to share with you. And at the same time, there are certain pieces of information that both of them can be true, but you just got to know when to use which one. As I've said before, there are times in life when you need to make a lot of noise and draw all the attention in the room to you. And there are also times when you should shut the hell up and not draw any attention to you. All right, there are times for both. You got to be smart enough to know when to use which piece of information. So prejudice, anyway, this is point 18. Prejudice is when you have certain negative feelings towards a certain idea, a certain type of person, a certain type of action, and you don't know anything about it. So racism is prejudice, right? Because somebody don't like white people, or you don't like black people, or you got some negative to say about Jewish people or a certain religion or people from a certain region, and you don't know anything about them. Never met one of them, never talked to them, or maybe you did. You met one black person, you had negative experience, and now you don't like all black people. Or you met one woman, she cheated on you, now you think all women are cheaters. And this is prejudice, and this is a form of fear, because you went through one bad experience, now you let that one experience make you fearful of ever going through anything similar to that experience ever again in your life. That is ignorance. Ignorance means not to know. Or you know one thing, now you're going to take that one thing and spread it to 1,000 things or 1,000,000 things. It makes no sense if you actually think about it. Challenges a lot of people in life don't think. This is where prejudice and superstition come from. Point number 19. We are talking the 31 major causes of failure. These are points number 11 through 20 we're doing today. Number 19, wrong selection of a vocation. Vocation means the job, your career, your business. What are you going to do with your life? The wrong selection. I've talked about this many times, especially my background as a professional athlete. A lot of people, especially in their youth, teenage years, think they're going to become a professional athlete or a rapper, especially in our community, African-American communities, because this is what we see. The successful people that get put in front of us are musicians and athletes, as if there are no other ways to become successful in life. We don't see it. It's not shown to us all the time. So then you get a lot of people who think, oh, I'm going to become an athlete, not because they really want to play sports, but because that's the only thing they see. Or it could be a kid, let's say a male is 6'7", and he's really tall, and he's 14, he's 6'7". Everywhere he goes, everybody's like, man, you should play basketball, you should play basketball, you should play basketball. He might not even like basketball. He might like computer engineering, but because he's tall, every time somebody sees him, they're like, man, why would you waste your time being a computer engineer? You should be in the NBA instead of being a basketball player. And what happens to a lot of people in all different communities is they choose professions not because they actually want to go into them, but because either A, they are strongly influenced by their community or by the things that they see on media and in TV, or they are following a parent or they're following someone in their family who was like, maybe your dad was a basketball player and your dad, maybe he only made it to college and he wishes he made it to the NBA. So when he has a son, he's going to try to force his son to be a basketball player, and the son don't even like basketball. But his son can't tell his dad that he don't like basketball because the dad ain't trying to hear it, and the dad's forcing him to go to the park and work on his dribbling every day. He don't even like basketball. Now the son ends up, maybe he becomes a pretty good basketball player, but he hates his dad. Now, is that what you want? What happens with a lot of people is choosing the wrong profession, again, not because they just are too dumb to realize they're in the wrong profession, but because they think that's what they're supposed to do. They think that's the only thing they can do, and they try to force themselves, as they say, to square a peg into the round hole, and it just doesn't work. I've seen a lot of people trying to do things that they just shouldn't be doing, not because they don't realize they shouldn't be doing it, but because they are afraid of saying, you know what, this is the wrong place. Let me go somewhere else. Let me try something else. I don't know what the thing is, but I know it ain't this. There are a lot of people who are afraid to say that to themselves, and therefore they force themselves, again, square peg into the round hole, and they do not achieve what they want to achieve. You got to figure out where you belong in this life. And some people are lucky enough to kind of have it fall in their lap, or it kind of happens for them naturally. For me, I would say I'm in that category. I went into sports. I started playing football and baseball, eventually became basketball. Basketball was my thing. While I was playing basketball, the internet came around. Got on the internet, started publishing stuff, and found the internet was my thing too. I seamlessly transitioned from sports into business, being all on the internet. So it kind of worked smoothly for me. I didn't really have to go through periods of, I have no idea what I want to do or where I want to go or where I'm going to fit in this life. But I understand that not everybody's going to have such a smooth transition. It's not going to be so simple and easy for everybody. But you must be mature enough and disciplined enough to understand when you're in the wrong place and say, you know what, I don't know what the right place is, but I know it ain't this. So let me get the hell out of here and maybe I can find the right place. Wrong selection of a vocation will lead to failure in life simply because you're investing time in something that you shouldn't be doing and you don't have unlimited time, as I already told you. Number 20, this is the last one for today. We're talking the 31 major causes of failure, number 20. After this, I'm going to recap all these points and take questions. Number 20, lack of concentration of effort. This is huge. Lack of focus. Lack of concentration. On these devices that we got right here, how often do you get distracted? How often are you supposed to be doing one thing on this device and you end up doing something else? How often do you log into your email because you need to get one message from somebody that sent you 6 weeks ago, and then you see an email, then you see something else, 2 hours went by, and you forgot why you even opened your email in the first place? How often do you open Facebook because you want to read a message somebody sent you, but then you see something in somebody's status update, and then you end up scrolling the feed, 45 minutes go by, and then you're like, damn, I ain't did nothing today. This is a lack of concentration of effort. When you get focused on something, or if you can get focused on something, staying focused helps you achieve success. A lot of people think that focus just means, all right, if I pay attention to it for a little while, I can go over here to Facebook, I go over here to IG, I can get in my email, I can come back to it. Then I can do this and I come back. Then I can do this and I come back. Understand that focus is a force multiplier. And what I mean by that is that I did a whole masterclass on this exact point. If you're in the game group at Work on Your Game University, you can listen to it yourself. But focus being a force multiplier means this. The longer you stay focused, the stronger the focus becomes. The longer you do it, your focus gets stronger. So if you focus on something for 3 minutes, you got this much focus. If you focus for 10 minutes, it becomes this much. You focus for an hour, it becomes this much. You focus for 3 days, it becomes this much. The longer you can stay focused without breaking your focus, the stronger your power of focus becomes. So if you focus on something for 1 minute, then stop, then another minute, then stop, then another minute, then stop, 3 minutes straight will be like this. 1 minute each time is like this. And multiply this by 3, it doesn't add up to this. You understand what I'm saying? The longer you can focus, the stronger the result. The more of your faculties, your mental and physical faculties you recruit, the longer you can maintain focus. A lot of people can't maintain focus in life simply because, listen, the engineers at these companies that make the apps that go in these things right here, they are engineered to distract you. They are engineered to pull you away from your focus. Now, why would they want to do that? Why would they, if you just said, Dre, that pulling you away from focus makes you a failure in life, so why would these companies be making things that are designed to kind of make you a failure? Because they're pulling you away from their focus. Well, understand something. Their success is keeping you on their app. All right, Facebook's success is keeping you on Facebook. Success for Instagram is keeping you on Instagram. Success for Gmail is keeping you in Gmail. Okay? You need to understand, unless you work at Facebook or Instagram, or that's your business is being on there all day, all right, you need to be disciplined enough to move away from those things that are trying to pull your focus away. How about turn the notifications off on your phone? How about some of y'all could really gain from that? I told you yesterday, the only apps on my phone to give me notifications. Fiverr, that's when I hire people. Slack, that's my staff. Text messages, phone calls. That's it. Nothing else gives me a notification. Doesn't mean nothing is happening. I don't get no notifications from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, WhatsApp. WhatsApp can give me a notification because people can message me there because I know people outside of USA. That's it. Email, none of those. I don't get notifications for none of those. I'm telling you that not to impress you, but to impress upon you. I don't allow those things to distract me. They can't pull me away from my focus, my main things, whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing. That's how I can get a lot of things done. That's how I can write a book, and I can write another book, and I can write another book, and I just started on another one, believe it or not. Now, all that being said, I'm going to recap these 10 that I did today. Then I'm going to take questions. So anybody got any questions on any of the things I talked about here today? We are talking about the 31 major causes of failure. Today I did points number 11 through 20. Yesterday I did the first 10. Tomorrow I'm going to do the final 11. We got 31. So tomorrow will be 20 through 31. Number 11, lack of controlled sexual urge. Number 12, uncontrolled desire to get something for nothing. Number 13, lack of a well-defined power of decision. Number 14, one or more of the 6 basic fears. Fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, or death. Number 15, wrong selection of a mate in marriage. Number 16, overcaution. Number 17, wrong selection of associates in business. Number 18, superstition and prejudice. Number 19, wrong selection of a vocation, meaning your job or career. Number 20, lack of a concentration of effort. All of these things lead to failure in life. You need to check yourself and make sure you aren't making one of these mistakes. Now, all that being said, let me tell you about these 2 books in front of me. And if you got a question, go ahead and post it in the comments right now. I'm going to answer every question in there. Now, these 2 books right here in front of me, these books are already paid for. You want either of these books, all you got to do is take care of the shipping. I'm going to tell you what they are. I'm going to tell you why you want them and what they're going to do for your life. And then I'm going to tell you where to get them. This right here is called The Mirror of Motivation. The subtitle is The Self-Guide to Self-Discipline. I wrote this book to help people get focused, to help people figure out who they actually are and where they belong in life, because a lot of people have no idea. A lot of people are drifting in life right now. A lot of people have no idea what they're doing, where they're going, or why. I wrote this book so that you can get in the mirror. That means looking at yourself and realizing that those answers are already in you. The answers are not in the book. This book is going to help you look in the mirror and see that the answers are within you. Okay? So you could call this a self-help book, but this is a me helping you help you book. All right, this is a Dre to self-help book, if you would understand what I'm saying there. But don't even worry about that. The Mirror of Motivation is the mirror. Just remember that. This book will help you be who you truly need to be as a person, so you can do what you truly need to do and have what you want to have the life that you really deserve to have in your life well, not even say by, let's just say which means you're going to be doing what 99% of this people on this planet never do, which is actually knowing your purpose, knowing who you are, and knowing exactly what you need to be doing with your life every single day. You can get this book by going to mirrorofmotivation.com. That's the same title, just take out the mirrorofmotivation.com. Mirrorofmotivation.com. The book is free. You take care of the shipping worldwide. This book right here, The Overseas Basketball Blueprint. This book is written specifically for people who want to play professional basketball internationally. I came from a Division III school where I walked on, had no connections, no agents, no foot in the door, no prospects, no nothing. Made a 9-year career out of it. How did I do it? What's the trials and errors that I went through? What steps would I take if I was starting to play ball right now? All covered in a 237-page book, which is the blueprint. You see it, the blueprint to playing overseas basketball. There is no book like this besides this one, and I'm giving it to you free. I can sell this book for $50. I'm giving it to you free by going to balloverseas.com. You can get your free copy. All you got to do is take care of the shipping. The book is already paid for. Overseas Basketball Blueprint, so you can travel the world, get paid to play basketball, get your food covered, your housing is covered, your flights are covered. All you got to do is show up to the gym and play ball 2 to 3 hours a day. You supply the game, I'm going to supply the blueprint. balloverseas.com. Now, I'm going to take all questions that we got in the comment section here. I don't even know how much time we got left because I don't even know exactly what time I started. But we are going to address as many questions as we can. So anybody got a question, go ahead and post it in the comment section, and let's see where we at. I started this live a little bit early today, just in case anybody was wondering. I usually start the lives at 5:15 p.m. Eastern, for anybody asking. Savage Fitness 260. What's good? Geopolitis checking in from Athens. Is that Athens, Greece, or Athens, Georgia? Or somewhere else? Shout out to Athens, either way. Brandon Joseph said, right before you brought up the dog example, I was thinking it in my head. I'm reading your mind, Brandon Joseph. That's how that happened. K-Baller26, what's going on? Said Dre preaching today. That's what's up. Jonathan Desire said preaching every day. Facts. Money May says that be facts. You got to have a good pull-out game and avoid child support. No, don't depend on the pull-out game. Get contraception. Trust me. Some people thought they pulled out and they end up with a kid. They didn't pull out the way they thought they did. You should read the science on that. Money May said, you're on topic of NBA players. Just wondering if you were Horace Grant and Jordan took your food, would you fight Jordan physically? I don't even know what you're talking about, but that's not related to the topic. My Theo, what's going on? Tim Raya said, you play basketball. Now, I stopped playing basketball in 2015, Tim Raya. We got 2 minutes left. I would guess I was talking for a long time. C Lord G1, what's good? I got 2 minutes. Instagram's giving me a countdown. Can y'all see that on the screen? I3W1S said I wanted to be a hacker, known as CEH. I don't know what that stands for, but all right. Well, go be one. I mean, you're still alive. You could be one. DLCG says, what time do you go live? 5:15. I go live at 5:15. Some days I might change it up and go early or late. But usually it's 5:15. But if you just follow my story on Instagram, I'll tell you on the story if I'm going to go live earlier or later. Brandon says, sometimes not that you're wrong in what you did, just you find out a better way to do it. That'll make people feel better. And I Manor said, I thought it was family first. Well, for who? Depends on what family you're talking about. It might not be family first for everybody. It might be family first for you if that's your way of doing things, but everybody ain't the same. And every family ain't the same. So, no, I don't think it's family first for everybody. It depends on who your family is and who that individual is. And is your family helping you get to where you want to go as a person? Yes or no? It's a yes or no question. The answer is no. Then why would you put your family first? If they're not putting you first, why would you put them first? I don't see the logic in that. But hey, to each his own. So everybody, I got 42 seconds left, so I'm going to have to wrap this up because Instagram won't kick all of us off. I'm going live every day. 5:15 p.m. Eastern is the normal start date, but if I change the time, I will post it in my story. So just follow my story, and you'll know. Whenever I'm going live, I'm doing it early, late, and if you happen to miss it, then just watch the replay. You got 24 hours. Mirrorofmotivation.com, balloverseas.com. And if you want to watch the replay somewhere where you can control with controls, go to Facebook. Facebook.com/work on your game. I go live there every day as well. I'm live on it right now, and that stays there forever, even at the 24 hours. Everybody, live tomorrow, 5:15 p.m. Eastern. Get your free copies of these books and work on your game. Have a great Saturday.